Big topic in the baseball atmosphere is a lot of big time pitchers are getting hurt and put on the shelf of Tommy John, and nobody really knows what's going on. Um, a lot of people are worried about this. Dylan, what's your reaction with? I mean, guys like Spencer Strider, Shane Bieber, Jonathan Loizica, Yuri Perez, they all are shut down for the rest of the year due to Tommy John. Dylan, what do you think is going on here?
I think the increase in velo and all of this from just last year has really hurt what's going on around the world of baseball. You look at these star pitchers. Garrett Cole starts the year banged up, and then after that, it sort of just turned downhill. You don't forget Lucas Giolito; he gets an injury. So there's so many injured pitchers out there. Justin Steele, the ham, he can't really control that. But I think in terms of the elbow issues, it goes back to the velos these guys are throwing with this year. Maybe that's a lazy take in my part, but I think it is something. The mechanics, Strider, you look at the way he throws the ball, it almost like he's throwing his entire arm off instead of using those. He's got great legs. And like you should drive through the baseball in terms of pitching, use that back leg and use your mechanics. But instead, he's using a lot of elbow, a lot of torque with the way he throws the baseball. So I think there's a lot of that. A lot of the mechanics can be studied. And I think pitching coaches are really going to have to start to implement something like that. But in terms of this year, maybe it's the quick ramp up and getting the year started. They know a couple of years, about a decade ago, they would start first week of April. Here, we're starting in the last week of March. So maybe it's an earlier ramp up and they're not really feeling it. And the new way of baseball with the injuries, the way they're taking place because of the high velos and stuff like that, that could definitely have an impact on if a player is going to stay healthy or not.
Yeah, I think you're spot on here. I don't think this year is any different than any other year. I don't think this year is some phenomenon. The only difference is that the names are bigger. We know why pitchers are getting more Tommy John surgeries more than ever. It's because current pitchers are throwing way harder than anybody in the history of baseball. The data is there. 20, 30 years ago, guys were not pumping 100 miles per hour on a consistent basis. It is a max effort for 5 to 6 innings every fifth day. How often do we see how often do we see finesse pitchers going down? We rarely see it. The human arm is not meant to throw that hard in that fashion for a long period of time. That is not sustainable. So I know a lot of people are blaming the pitch clock here with a quicker turnaround. And I'm just like, guys, no, 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 no. Guys are throwing way harder than historically they've been doing. That's the culprit. That's the issue here. And I mean, we can go even a few layers deeper here with going to high school and travel ball. Guys playing, little kids playing 5 games in a weekend. Throwing their arms out. Then I think there's a lot of consuming factors here. I don't think the main culprit should be the pitch clock. There's a lot of things going on, and I think everybody involved, the adults in the baseball community, we really need to talk about this and figure this out.
Love that. That's a phenomenal take. Going back to those kids, those weekends, they're throwing their arm out. All these coaches that wanted to be MLB All Stars are nowhere even sniffed college ball. Are out here trying to win weekend tournaments with these 10-year-olds, thinking that that's the end all be all when their health is the most important factor.
Yeah, no doubt. We're spot on there.